What's up, everyone? Today, I give you an opportunity to take a look at my 2009 BMW 650i. Now, the reason why I wanted to make this video is because I have noticed that on YouTube, there's not a lot of videos that talk too much about this wonderful, beautiful car. You know, some may have seen that it has some of its flaws, and for a lot of folks, it doesn't really cater to the type of interest that they may have. But the one thing that I will say about this 650 is that it is pretty awesome. It has its pitfalls, but it also has a lot of good benefits to it that I find to be extremely attractive and makes this car probably one of a kind. Additionally, what I'll do is I'll give you all an idea of what it's like as far as the ownership with this car. I've had it for these last 5 years, and we could talk a little bit about maintenance, any repairs I've had with the car, and just the usual keeping up with the car. So we'll touch into that. So with that, let's get this thing started. So here we are, 2009 BMW 650i. You have black sapphire paint, and it also comes with 19-inch rims. Additionally, on the inside is a saddle brown leather. I personally call it peanut butter because to me, it looks like peanut butter. It's very sexy looking. At the end of the day, this is kind of the design of the whole car. Like I said, 19-inch rims. And then here in the back, we have some quad exhausts. So just for some added info, normally stock, it comes in 2 pipes, but what happened is the previous owner actually installed a new exhaust system, and that included these 4 pipes right here. And I will tell you, it sounds amazing at startup. So if we go around the rest of the bend here, we can see a little bit more of the features, how it looks on the side here. And it's sexy, man. Sexy, sexy beast. Another thing that's included to the car that is not actually stock is at startup. I'm not sure if the light is able to be seen very well. It's a little flashing on the video, but it has the angel eyes, which is also another feature that's added that's not normally included as stock. Stock is the yellow. I added the actual white angel eyes to it. So, beautiful things. It doesn't flash like that in real life. It's just in this video. So now with all that being said, let's take a look at the interior. All right. So this is what it looks like. You know, first entering the car, you know, you have the little bit of information here. The iDrive itself, navigation and all that. Hazard lights, the lock and unlock buttons. Dual climate control, so the driver and the passenger has an opportunity to change the temperature to whatever they like. You have the CD changer, and it stores, I believe, up to 3 CDs at one time. As you can tell too, if you look up, it's touch sensitive, which is really, really cool. So it highlights based on my finger just kind of like lightly touching the button. And then down here, heated seats. Goes up to 3 different levels. Obviously the 3rd level here is the highest, and then it goes down over time. DTC, which is dynamic traction control. This is the parking sensors here. So gives you an idea of these little sensors that can pretty much detect how far away you are from a curb or some type of obstruction behind you or in front of you. So it gives you those little beeping sounds. It can be kind of annoying after a little while. And then here, heated seats for the passenger. We have this cup holder here. It's for a lot of people. I had some friends who say that this is actually really cool. Kind of gives it like a more spaceship type of like style to it, real sleek and everything. I think it's cute, you know what I mean? It's kind of cool, it's kind of dope, but it doesn't fit all types of drinks, all types of size cups and stuff, so you got to be mindful. Another thing that I think is pretty unique is you see this gear stick here. It pretty much is digital, you know, from here as far as highlighting which gear you're on or which status you're on with the car. So park right now is digital, and then when it start up, you can see it kind of move through the shifter here, and you have the park button right here. On the steering wheel, the volume controls here, the Bluetooth telephone, which it does have in this car, the Bluetooth technology for just phone calls. You can do voice command, which is very sucky. I would not encourage using this. It can understand some commands, but for the most part, it's really, really bad when it comes to understanding what is being said. These are just specific customizable buttons that you can use for the car. And this is a scrolling up button. So that's kind of where we're at. As you can tell, I'm at 94,000 miles. I've had this car for quite a while. And down here, we have the iDrive controller. It's pretty much a scrolling wheel that can either zoom in or zoom out if you're on the map. If you can see here, zoom in and zoom out. You also have some shortcut buttons here: CD, menu, telephone, radio, navigation, and the back and option button. So you can kind of do that and pretty much navigate the iDrive system using these different functions here. So over here we get to see the headlights. Right now it's set at automatic. I usually like to keep it at this. This option. You have daytime running lamps, or you can just set it so it's on, completely all the time. This car also features heads-up display. So I'm not sure, I guess you can see it now. It has the heads-up display where it will give you information on the speed of your car, or if you put in directions into the navigation or the address of the navigation, it will give you directions on the windshield. So you get a chance to see all turn-by-turn directions, how far you are to the next turn that you need to make, and pretty much displays all that information right there on the windshield, which I find is very, very valuable. I love that. One of the top features that I enjoy about this car, right? So we have our armrest right here. It's not much stuff you can put in here. This is the handbrake, and then back seat is very, very tight. You're not really getting a lot of space in the back seat. And then there's the rear view window. And then up here, we got our moonroof. As you can see, it's very wide. Lots of light that's coming in. And it's pretty big. And then you can pretty much tilt it up. So it doesn't pull all the way back, it just tilts up, giving people an opportunity to get some air while you're driving. I think some people would like it to push all the way back, like a full sunroof. But to be honest with you, with this kind of space that you get with the moonroof, it actually feels like you're outside with the amount of light coming in, and when you're driving, it feels extremely good. All the windows push down are power. All power windows here, of course. We're talking about a luxury car. And this is what we have with this vehicle here in the interior. That said, let's start this baby up. Yep. Sounds just like that. Take a look outside. So initially, when I first got this car, it was still under a factory warranty. So that was pretty much 50,000 miles, 4 years, and nothing really happened during that time, but it was only afterwards, when that expired, is when some things started kicking in, of course. So not long after the warranty expired, I received my first issue, which is a fuel pump. And that fuel pump cost roughly a few $100s. Also, little time afterwards, I had to change out the control arm bushings, and then I had a bit of a break when it came to repairs. And the next thing up was the valve stem seals, which is said to be very common to change out on this car, or this type of car. So that cost roughly in the thousands of dollars. Also, the control alternator gasket that had to be changed out, thermostat, water pump, vacuum pump, and also I had coolant hose. The coolant hose had burst, or it was leaking. It was pretty much in bad shape, so it was leaking coolant. That also needed to be replaced as well. So there was a few items on the list that needed to be taken care of. It definitely cost some change, a good amount of money to do the repairs. Fortunately for me, I also had a extended warranty that I was able to really utilize during this time with the repairs. So that tremendously reduced the amount of cost out of pocket that I had to make towards this car. So another thing is the tires and the brakes. These two things are wear and tear items that you obviously have to change out for the car very often or every so often. And for me, I bought the tires online, got them simply installed at the shop or at a mechanic shop that I trusted. Didn't really cost much money to do the whole process. And as far as the brakes, do the same thing. So the brakes for each set, like the front set of brakes or the rear set, would average about $1,000. And I also got those installed by a shop as well. So I don't really drive very often on this car, even though this is my only car, simply because I don't put much miles into the car every year. Maybe about 10,000. The highest has ever been was like 12,000 miles. So it also, that reduces how often I need to change out these different parts. So it's something that you have to really consider when having to own this car, because you know, as it's aged from the 70,000 to 80,000 to 90,000 mile mark, it has definitely like been a few things that you have to keep in mind of as far as repairs and keeping up with the vehicle. So I would definitely say, just despite all of that, this car has been amazing. You know, been amazing to drive. It sounds amazing. It looks good. It's very appealing still, despite its age of being 2009. It's been an amazing car. So just to wrap up this review, pretty much on the 650i, it's an amazing car. I've had it now for about 5 years, and I can tell you that since having this car, it's been an enjoyable thing. It's been a car that, despite its age, it doesn't feel old. Like, it feels still very nimble. It still feels as if it's a car that, you know, I just drove off the lot with not too long ago. And honestly, the looks, as you can tell, is still very appealing. You know, it's a 2009 car, but from the compliments and looks that I get sometimes, it almost feels like it's a 2016 or even sooner, something more recent. So I may do a separate video that will go into detail as far as the specifics on the repairs on this car and how much it may cost, and even exactly how much you probably should look forward to kind of setting aside for any type of work to do on the car on a yearly basis. But I chose this car specifically because I love the idea of having a 650i, and the fact that I can get into one of these vehicles and after its depreciation period not have to pay brand new 650 cost and still look just as good as a 650. It's an obvious option, you know, something to really consider. So hope y'all enjoyed this video. This is Rashawn. Peace.